Welcome back here. We are continuing to follow this breaking news for you. A San Diego police officer is in the hospital right now after being shot in Mountain View. We do have team coverage for you. CBS 8's Chris Grow live outside Scripps Mercy Hospital where that officer was taken. But we begin with Dana Marie McNichol live at the scene in Mountain View now with an update for us. Dana Marie?
Well, good morning, Eric and Netta. Well, we know the suspect is inside an apartment complex right behind me. There's SWAT negotiators on scene trying to get that suspect out of the home. But of course, this is not where it all started. Around midnight on the 3500 block of Main Street, police located a stolen vehicle. The suspect was driving that car. Police asked the suspect to get out of the vehicle. They did not stop. We talked to police about what happened next. Take a listen.
This led to a car chase with the police helicopter overhead. It was a lengthy chase where the vehicle was eventually abandoned near 45th and Logan Avenue. The suspect left that vehicle and fled on foot with officers in pursuit. That suspect opened fire on officers, striking one officer at least one time. Officers were not able to return fire. Officers rescued the downed officer, administered aid, and rushed him to a nearby hospital in the police car where he's receiving treatment.
Now, the suspect was then found by police on 1000 South 44th Street inside an apartment complex. I'm standing just a couple of blocks away from there outside of police tape. Right now, SWAT negotiators are on scene trying to get the suspect to come out of that apartment safely without any more incidents. Their hope is to de-escalate the situation and bring this to an end peacefully. Now, as for that apartment complex, officers has been evacuating people they believe should be evacuated. Everyone else is being asked to shelter in place. Now, if you're living inside the apartment, inside the police perimeter and would like to leave, police say flag down an officer or call the non-emergency line. Now, detectives will be out here all morning long, so expect delays in terms of traffic if you are traveling in the area. A large portion of Logan Avenue off the 805 freeway near the Imperial Avenue exit is blocked off. We've seen a lot of cars trying to come up to the scene and have to take a detour. Now, because this is an active scene with negotiations, the suspect could be watching this morning. Police say they just can give us really limited preliminary information. Of course, we're going to be here all morning long gathering the latest information, but still a very active scene with multiple agencies here conducting the investigation. More about who the suspect is. Hopefully we can find out further details coming up. I'm Dana Marie McNichol coming to you live from Mountain View.
And we are continuing to follow this breaking story here. Yeah, the officer who was shot was taken to the hospital. CBS 8's Chris Grow live at Scripps Mercy Hospital in Hillcrest. That's where the officer was transported. Chris, what are we learning there?
Yeah, and just before we went on the air at 5:30, we actually heard from Chief of Police David Nislight. The chief was actually just leaving the hospital after visiting with that officer in their hospital, leaving the hospital in that hospital bed. The chief telling us that that officer is doing well, that they are surrounded by family right now. They're getting visits also from other officers. There are a number of San Diego police cruisers that are parked just outside the emergency and trauma room. So again, what we're being told is that that officer is expected to be okay, that these injuries are not considered life-threatening. Now, we did hear from an officer on the scene that was in charge of releasing some information that said that the officer is believed to have been shot at least once. So that's the extent that we know so far about those injuries. Again, the chief only giving us limited information, but wanting us to know and for us to pass along that information to the community that the officer is expected to be okay and is being treated right now for that at least believed to be a gunshot wound. Now, back out here live, we are waiting to hear exactly the full extent of the recovery process. Again, if they're expected to go into surgery or if that won't be necessary. Of course, if we do know and receive any more information, including how long this officer has been with the department, their age, etc., we'll be sure to pass that along. But for now, we're going to send things back to you, Eric and Netta.
And be sure to stay with CBS 8 for updates on this breaking news. You can also get the latest on our website, our app, and our social media pages. Checking in on the forecast here. Now there's a lot going on. There's rain coming down and there's snow coming down in some parts of the county.
Yeah, and now we have daylight, so you can see that snow even better. So I will say it's not the best time to drive up to our mountains, and you'll see, in fact, why that is. Look,
yeah, look at
that's
that.
The road right
Fresh
there.
blanket.
Yeah, somewhere under there, there's a road and they need plows to come through. But obviously these snow plows have been busy up and down the state of California because of how much snow the mountains have received. Now it's coming through our local mountains. So this is right near the Laguna Mountain Lodge, the live camera they have set up on the rooftop. So this would be their rooftop covered in all that snow. Of course, the sidewalks, the roadways, all of that will be covered as well. So let's take you to our satellite imagery where you can see right here the bigger picture first. I want to show you this because it does show unstable air. Whenever you see kind of the spotty activity, a lot of this is a cold front that's passing through here. So this storm has now changed. Yesterday, we got the brunt of the rain. It was still fairly cool, but now it is downright cold, in fact freezing, as we know in our mountains right now because the rain has switched over. So the cold front passing through means we might see thunderstorms later on. I do want to show you this 3-hour loop right here. In fact, I'm actually just paused over our mountains where you're still seeing some of that snow coming in. Pine Valley, Julian, you have that nice layer, Palomar Mountain as well as you see way up there. But look at this line of rain now. So this is over the ocean already coming through Oceanside and Encinitas. Watch out, this is a pretty heavy downpour that's coming in. So you see a little bit more of that orange and red right there over the ocean on its way to the 5. All these communities along the coast, you're about to get dumped on. In fact, you're seeing more of that activity even in Fallbrook now. It's picking up for you. Valley Center, it'll start to pick up there as well. So Escondido, it's on its way towards the 15, a heads up. Our freeways are all soaked. We know our roads, some low-lying areas already dealing with flooding because we got about 0.8 of an inch of rain already across much of San Diego. We still could get another 0.3 to a ½ inch of rain today. So I do want to show you the forecast model here. This shows kind of what's ahead. Over the next hour, things will start to pick up. You just saw that cell building over the ocean. That's on its way inland. It'll move towards East County. Through about 10:30, 11 o'clock, you'll continue to see kind of this heavier activity. Then we get a little bit of a pause right around lunchtime, around 1 o'clock. Then it might start to pick up a little bit more because that's when our chance for thunderstorms will increase. So you could see some of these heavier cells bringing in lightning strikes, things like that. Right now, we do have a lot going on here on this map. A high surf advisory for the coastline. Advised not to go in the water anyway because of all the rain and the runoff. Winter storm warning for our mountains. That's because 3 to 6 inches of snow with the likelihood of 10 possible. So heavy snow and gusty winds, which is why we have that wind advisory in effect this morning for the desert passes and the east side of our mountains. 16-mile-per-hour winds in Julian, fairly calm though thankfully right now west of the mountains. It's also cold, 40 in Alpine, 42 in Ramona. Let's take you now to that 8-day where you'll see by tomorrow the sun's coming out. Temperatures will not be warming up much. We're staying in the 50s for the coast and inland tomorrow, and then Wednesday a little bit warmer. So a slight uptick here for your temperatures, but the rain will be gone. It'll then impact millions of people across the rest of the country instead. Now let's show you what's happening with traffic because it's like clockwork. As soon as the heavy cells come through, we start to see more crashes, and that is exactly what we're seeing right now. So you see this right along the 5 southbound at the 8, right where that comes together. There's a crash that likely will slow people down. We have a crash on the Silver Strand and one right there in Chula Vista. Look at the slow going, the red that you see, that's the 5 going northbound. So if you can try to avoid that, you may want to take the 805, although I just saw a crash pop up on the 805. So quite a few things to get to. Thankfully, they cleared this one on the 125 southbound. This crash, though, way up north in Del Dios Highway eastbound, still something they're working on to clear. And then the freeway up in the mountains, I-8 eastbound at 79. That's another wreck that we are still looking at and watching for. But, you know, if you do want to go to the mountains, I would advise waiting till tomorrow if you can. The snow will stick around, so you don't need to rush through the storm. Eric.
All right, now to some other local headlines here at 6:38. Police looking for whoever shot and killed a man in Escondido. This happened near North Hickory Street and East Washington Avenue just before 6 p.m. yesterday. Police say they got a call about shots fired near a drainage ditch. When officers arrived, they found a man in his 20s with 2 gunshot wounds. He died at the hospital. Police do not have a suspect description. And they are also investigating a homicide in Barrio Logan, where they found a man lying on the sidewalk with several stab wounds. It happened early Sunday morning near Logan Avenue and 17th Street. The man died before they could get him to a hospital. You're asked to call Crime Stoppers if you have any helpful information. And in Ocean Beach, police are looking for the person who set off an explosion inside of a bathroom. They say someone lit a cricket bomb inside a stall at Dusty Roads Park yesterday morning. One man was inside the bathroom during the explosion, but fortunately nobody was hurt.
And now to this developing story. An international manhunt is on right now for a serial killer who detectives say killed at least 3 sex workers in Tijuana. The women were found dead in hotel rooms. The first was in August of 2021, the other 2 in January and February of this year. Authorities in Mexico say he's a U.S. citizen who lives north of the border and last crossed country lines in February into San Diego. Tijuana newspaper Zeta identified the suspect, but the FBI here has not confirmed his name to us here at CBS 8, so we'll follow this one closely. And the search continues for the world's fastest French bulldog and his Boston Terrier sister. 2 dogs were stolen in San Diego. Their owner says Winston Bolt and Xena were taken last Tuesday when someone stole his car with the dogs inside. This happened outside Crunch Fitness in the El Cerrito neighborhood. Winston holds the world's title of fastest French bulldog in history. His top speed, 27 miles an hour. The owner started a GoFundMe to hire a private investigator to find the 2 dogs.
Now you can see the noticeable eye color there, so hopefully they recognize those dogs, someone out there, and can turn them in here.